Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about what I packed in my makeup travel bag. Now I recently went on a 2-week trip out of the country, and I had never been on a 2-week trip ever, nor had I ever been out of the country, so all of those unknowns really equated to me grossly overpacking. So not only do I want to show you what I packed in my makeup bag, but I also want to talk about things I didn't even touch, things I could have done without, and how I kind of moving forward want to try to pack less and really just minimize everything so I can only use a carry-on. So let's jump right into it. Now this is my makeup bag. It's just a bag from BH Cosmetics. I love this bag because it's actually quite smartly designed. It doesn't look like it's huge, but it's so well done. You can really pack a lot of product in this. You have this one side over here that has a zipper pouch which can really fit a lot of liquids and products, and in this very middle you have these individual kind of sleeves where you put your brushes, and I love that it has this little screen that you can put over it. And I also like to put like my eyeliners and everything in here, so it's just a nice section to just kind of really organize everything. And then in the back you kind of have this open pocket here, which again, as I mentioned, really packs a punch. You can put a lot of things in here, which can be good or bad. It leads to overpacking, but I do like how small this is, but how much you can fit in it. So let's just start with this and just kind of move through it. So here in the zipper bag, I packed most of my liquids. Now I did check this bag, so it didn't really matter what size products were. As I mentioned, moving forward, I do want to try to pack everything in a carry-on, so I'll be looking for smaller sizes and kind of minimizing this a little bit more. The first thing I brought was this Mented Cosmetics foundation stick. This is in the color T30. I do have a full review on this product. You guys know I love it. If you want to see all the details about that, definitely check out that video. I'll link it up above and down below. But the reason why I love this is because it just gives me the most beautiful natural finish. It's so quick and easy. Plus it's in a stick form, and so that's going to help me when I'm doing the checked or doing the carry-on bag, because this shouldn't count towards a liquid. But I really do love this. It's just a beautiful finish. Unfortunately, if I'm looking for something that's going to keep me matte all day long, that is just not the one I reach for. So I do have another foundation in here, and I do have, that's the Too Faced Peach Perfect. You guys know I love this foundation. I do have this in 2 colors, Warm Sand and in Butterscotch. The combination of the two just give me a beautiful finish, nice coverage, and they hold you down. I'm trying to tell you. In fact, I had this, I'm going to put a picture up. There was one part of the trip where we were outside all day long from like morning to evening, and it was rainy and it was cold, and I had on this foundation and I had on this Urban Decay All Nighter setting powder. This is the waterproof setting powder. This is a translucent powder. I would open it up, but it broke and I don't want to get it all over the place, but I do have a video on this. I believe it's in my Summertime Essentials. Y'all, if you are an oily skin diva, you got to get this. Very rarely do I say you got to get this. You got to get this. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to be your summertime best friend. And look how sleek it is. It's just so sleek. You can just, it fits anywhere. Mine broke, like I mentioned, but I will definitely be getting a new one of these because this is always going with me everywhere. Now unfortunately, as you can see, because I used 2 of these, this is just not very smart. It's just going to take up way too much space, and I mean that's a total of 3 foundations, and whenever I actually do a carry-on bag, these are going to mess up my liquid ratio, so I really need to figure out what to carry in place of this, or maybe just get a mini, but I don't think they have a mini in either of these, so this is definitely something I need to think about moving forward, especially for a carry-on bag. Now back over here into this pocket, I did bring 3 concealers. The only reason why I brought 3 concealers is because I'm actually testing out this Milani one. My girl Kelsey Brianna J did a video on the Battle of the Concealers, and she really liked this Milani. So I picked it up because I'm a concealer junkie and I really wanted to try it. Jury's still out on this one. I think maybe because she's a little bit younger than I am, and she probably doesn't have the fine lines and wrinkles that I have, or the dry under eye. I just don't think this one is doing me justice, but I'll definitely get back to you on that one. But normally I wouldn't carry 3 because these 2 right here are my go-to. This Smashbox Studio Skin 24 Hour, I have mine in the color Dark, and then I have the, y'all know, the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Sculpting Concealer, and this one is in the color Warm Sand. The combination of the 2 are just my go-tos. I use this one in the inner corner to kind of cover up that darkness, and then I use this one to bring a little bit of brightness to the under eye, and the combo is beautiful. When I can, I will always bring both of these. Doesn't matter, I'll always bring both of these. These have to be in my bag. Now the next thing I brought is this Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. Now this is a product that I don't use all over the face. This is actually, in my opinion, quite a creamy moisturizing product. So what I like to do, it also does gives a nice highlighted effect. So what I like to do is I put this in the very inner corner of my eye before I put on any concealers, and mine is in the color 6 Dark Tan. And what I think this does is a beautiful job of really bringing lightness. It almost works as a color corrector. It kind of minimizes that darkness in the corner, lightens up the eye area, moisturizes it, hydrates it, and just prepares it for any other product that goes on top of this. When I don't use this, I can tell a huge difference. It's definitely an extra step, and if there was something that I had to not bring, like when I go to New York, I'm not going to be able to bring this just because I'm going to be using a carry-on. This is definitely a bougie step, so I'd take this one out, but I love this step. It makes a huge difference, and if I could, I would always bring it with me. Alright, and of course I did bring an eyeshadow primer. You guys know I have the oiliest lids ever, so even if I don't wear eyeshadow, I have to put on an eyeshadow primer. I really like this Milani one. It just does a great job of keeping the oil at bay and keeping the eyeshadow looking good, but it doesn't provide any coverage or anything like that. So if I'm going for like a full eyeshadow, I'd use a different eyeshadow primer, but this is an everyday one, so this is what I packed. Now I always have to have a Mented lip gloss in here. This is in the color Berry Me. You can't go anywhere without a Mented lip gloss. That's all I'm saying. Check out my video. That's all you gotta do. I'm gonna link it in the info card above and down below. You need your Mented. Now as far as powders go, I packed these 3. You guys know, and I already talked about the Urban Decay. But I'm going to, this is one that I have for my bronzer. This is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte. This is in the color Cocoa. Beautiful bronzer, works for me in the winter or summer. Love, love, love this product. Already talked about this, but get you some. And then I also have the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder. I have mine in Radiant Light. I use this as an all-over finishing powder. So once I've got all my different powders on, all the way down to my blush, I just use a big fluffy brush and put this on. Beautiful. And it actually travels quite well, surprisingly enough. Okay, so now we're going to move on. That's all in the zipper pouch. Now we're going to move on to this centerpiece here with the brushes. I'm going to actually go pretty quickly on this because I realize this is already 7 minutes long and I don't want it to be too long. So I'm just going to kind of skip it. I'm going to kind of go over this quite quickly. Over here I have my eyeliners. I have my blue. I have a black because I love wearing a blue in place of a black because I think it's just less harsh and it just kind of changes things up. I do want to showcase these 2 cream gel eyeliners that I just recently got from ColourPop. This one is in the color Teaspoon and this one is in the color Get Paid. Loved popping this in my lower lash line just to kind of change some things up, and love putting this in my lower lash line when I wanted something more neutral but still wanted to sparkle just a bit and pull the look together. I really do like these. They actually amazingly have some really good staying power, so I like these. And then I have a typical black, of course you never want to go anywhere without your black eyeliner. Now for brushes, it's just my everyday. I've got something for my brow, I've got something for my powder, I've got something for my foundation, I've got something for my blush and bronzer. This is what I use for to set my under eye concealer. This is what I use to blend the under eye concealer. And so these are all the brushes. Now I did bring my Wayne and Sonia brushes, and I know you're probably thinking, why in the world would you want to take your best brushes out on a trip with you just in case they get lost? These brushes, number one, you're not supposed to wash them except for like once a month. You're just supposed to kind of keep them clean after you use them, and so I like that because I do feel like even though you keep on using them, they don't get oily with your skin oil or anything like that. Like, they are designed to be used over and over and over again before you actually need to wash them. And honestly, they make my makeup look beautiful. Like, seriously, they give me skill that I don't really have. They are dirty, I apologize, I need to wash them, but I did want to showcase them because they're very versatile. You can use each brush for multiple purposes, and they just take my makeup a notch, and I just don't ever want to be without them. So that's why I brought them. I would have been devastated had anything happened to them, but I was willing to take the chance. Alright, the last little pouch we have here, I'm going to move these over because we already talked about that. We already talked about those. Now, I always carry this little bag here that just has Q-tips, cotton balls, and then cotton pads, just because you never know. I use it to remove my makeup, and just use my micellar water. You just always want to have this somewhere in your bag. And I also have my tweezers in here and a little mascara wand that's disposable. Now in here I actually have this cute little BH Cosmetics set. I think I got it as a freebie, but it's just a little miniature travel brush kit, and it has just these 4 brushes in there. Tell me why I have this as well as every other brush, because I'm just extra. This is definitely something that I could have left out. It's something I wouldn't mind having if I literally did not have all the other brushes, but because I'm not going anywhere without my other brushes, this is cute to have, but not necessarily something I need to pack every time because I've got my brushes covered. Next thing I have in here is my deodorant. Now this is a natural deodorant, which I'm trying to fall in love with, but I'm trying to tell y'all it's got me just smelling all kinds of ways out there in them streets, and so I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm just trying to get away from that that toxic deodorant, really trying to get all natural, because what you put on your body topically, especially that deodorant, it just travels throughout the body and it just wreaks havoc on it. So, and it's also, I'm telling y'all, these toxins are going to come out one way or another. So if you're just trying to look to get a little bit healthier, you're looking to really clean up that body, you really ought to look into a natural deodorant. I don't think this one is the one for me, but a natural deodorant I think you definitely need to look into. Alright, now I do have my Kat Von D Brow Pomade. Y'all, I love this stuff, and I know I guess all of a sudden we done canceled Kat Von D, but y'all knew she was crazy from the beginning. I don't know why we keep getting surprised by the things she says. Let the girl be crazy. I still love her brow pomade, and this is in the color dark brown. I do have a full video on this. Love this stuff. Now I also brought 2 lipsticks. I brought a neutral one. This is the Maybelline in Untainted Spice. Miss Destiny Godly put me on this one. This is a beautiful, beautiful nude everyday color on me. Never go anywhere without it. Maybe you guys can see it here. It's just a beautiful color. It looks great on my skin, and I can pop it on anytime, any look, it doesn't even matter. And then I did bring this red lipstick here. This is a color by Mary Kay. This is their semi-matte in Midnight Red. I do like this formula. This is one of those almost neutral reds, so it's still a red, but it's not a bright, bold red, and it just kind of works if you don't want to be too loud, but you still want to make a little statement. I really do love this red and like carrying it around. And I think you need to have a neutral and a bold lip color wherever you're going. The next thing I want to talk about is this 100% mineral matte sunscreen by Supergoop. This has SPF 40. As I mentioned in my new skincare products and my skincare routine, I'm really starting to pay attention to making sure I have SPF on every day, and a high dose of it. Not that 15, not that 10, but a high dose of SPF on my face. I love this because it is a primer and an SPF, so it's taking out 2 different products, so it's easy to put in my routine, but I haven't noticed a difference in my skin. Now, I was currently using the Unscreen sunscreen by Supergoop, and I really like that. That's a clear product, where this one right here almost has a little bit of a tint. It puts you in the mindset of the Benefit Professional, but this one right here really keeps me matte. In fact, and I'm happy to announce that when I use this right here with this Mented foundation stick, I can finally achieve that all-day matteness that I was hoping for. So now I can just bring this Mented foundation stick instead of using 2 different Too Faced Peach Perfects. This doesn't count towards the cream, and it just makes that whole carry-on bag more efficient. And I'm telling y'all, if you were using the unseen sunscreen previously, try using the 100% mineral matte screen, because it really does help keep your face matte all day long, and you're still getting that sunscreen, and I absolutely love it. So that's definitely an improvement that I was happy to find out about. So let me get back. Alright, so we're down to the last little bit. So as far as eyeshadow palettes, I brought the Urban Decay Born to Run. Now I do love this palette. I think it's absolutely amazing. I love it because it has such an array of colors. So if you were wanting to go bold, you could. If you were going to go neutral, you could. You know, if you wanted to just keep a simple eye with 2 colors, you could. This has your transition colors. It has your inner corner highlights. It has shimmers for the lid. It really is a one-stop shop when it comes to a palette, and it still gives you a lot of versatility. And honestly, the packaging is great. It's a nice heavy packaging with the magnetic closure. Like it says, it's born to run. This is meant for travel. Unfortunately, I didn't touch this thing at all. I never touched this palette ever. In fact, there were days when I didn't even put on makeup, and then when I did put on makeup, I just put some bronzer in the crease. That's all I did. Pop some bronzer in the crease and put an inner corner highlight, and girl, with some eyeliner and some mascara, your girl was popping. I would say though, if you're someone who likes to have the versatility and you do use eyeshadow every single day, this Born to Run is a great palette. I just know for me, it's just too big. It's just taking up space. So what I plan on using when I go on my New York trip is I'm actually going to take this little itty bitty Wet n Wild eyeshadow palette. This is the Not a Basic Peach, and if you look at it, first of all, it's so small, but look at these colors. Like, I'm almost getting the same vibes. Maybe not quite as much. Here, let me open this up. See, look at this. You see how we're getting some pretty similar vibes? Now, of course, you don't have nearly all the color choices, but look how similar that is. So honestly, what I could do with this, for the majority, I could do with this palette. Again, if I were going to do eyeshadow, because as I mentioned, I didn't. But even if I wanted to do just some basic eyes, just putting a couple colors in the crease, I still have that option. And this is so tiny, it's so small, but it's still going to give me everything I need. So that is definitely one improvement I would make, is to go from a palette this big to a palette this big. Now we're going to talk about the blush. Now I loved this blush palette. This is the Saharan Blush Volume 2 from Juvia's Place. I love this palette because it has an array of colors. It gives me 6 different options, which I use almost all of these. And I love the fact that it has this neutral color in here as well as this one. But you can take it with you. You have some options, but it still doesn't take up that much space. It's still very thin. I definitely will continue to pack this with me. If I could actually do with the 3 really, but this one right here, I love the versatility and the size, so I'd bring this along again as well. And then I have this makeup remover little towelette that I always have just in case, and I have my disposable razor and then a little sample lipstick. So that is all the stuff that I packed in my travel makeup bag. Definitely a lot. As I talked about, I would definitely condense down my eyeshadow, bring a smaller palette. I'm going to definitely condense down that concealer, just bring my 2 heavy hitters. When it comes to foundation, I'm so happy I can now just carry that one Mented. That's fantastic there. And probably on the eyeliner is where I'd also kind of minimize things just a little bit. So if you have any suggestions or any ideas, or if you want to share how you pack very light, definitely comment down below, because you guys know sharing is caring and it takes a village. So I hope this information helps someone else out there. If it did, please give this video a thumbs up. And while you're here on my channel, take a look around, see what else your girl has to offer. And if you're liking what you're seeing, hit that subscribe button, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.